Welcome to Life Ablaze. So, today my guides have let me know that the topic is going to be commitment. So, I'm just going to do my usual thing and get out of their way, let them come through and say what they're going to say on this. We are here. We welcome you. We are indeed here today to discuss the idea of commitment. We understand that this can be, in certain contexts, a scary word for some of you. We understand that the idea of, for instance, committing to another person can be a situation fraught with challenges. And while some of what we are discussing will involve this particular idea of commitment, it is only the beginning in terms of what we will discuss today. So, let us begin. Keeping in mind the message that we presented yesterday about the idea of balance, there is much to be gained in terms of making a commitment in general. Now, we said early on in this particular series that one of the greatest reflections that you can have in this physical life is through a primary partner. This is one of the most powerful tools that you can use in terms of self-development, increasing your awareness, raising your vibration, and letting go of all the pieces, all the beliefs, all the things that you may be doing, may be thinking, that no longer serve you. And so, along those guidelines, a commitment made to another individual can, in many ways, serve you. It can serve your growth. And of course, it will be reciprocal between you and your partner. This is one facet of the commitment topic that we are discussing today. To explore this a little bit further before we move on from it, we do want to highlight a couple different ideas within this. Now, there are many, shall we say, traditional or old-fashioned ideas in terms of what a commitment to another individual actually means. And we have found, in observing you, that many of these ideas of commitment are quite restricting. This is no doubt why the very idea, the term commitment, might send shivers up some of your spines. And were we to define the idea of commitment in this very restrictive way, we can very well understand why you might feel that way. But this is not what we are discussing. A commitment does not need rules and guidelines or vows. It does not need to be legally recognized. It does not need an endorsement from other individuals. None of these things are actually required for a commitment to something. In one context, you could commit yourselves to a particular job. And One does not even need to be actually working for a particular company to yet still be committed to that company. There are many, for instance, internships along this line. And there are many other expressions of this. But getting back to the idea of a person-to-person commitment, regardless of the guidelines that you set forth for yourself and a particular individual or multiple individuals, what you set forth as the guidelines can be as unrestrictive as you wish. But it is the commitment that you are looking for. And in this sense, it is essentially choosing to lean into the experience and whatever may unfold from it. Because regardless of what you may know in terms of what may come from this particular commitment, it is still a worthwhile expression beyond what you know it will produce. In fact, in many cases, it is exactly what you do not know will develop that will actually provide for you what you will later find to be the most valuable from the experience of committing to this individual or individuals. Now, a commitment between a person and another individual is one context of a commitment. We have also hinted at the idea of an employee to a particular job. Another idea would be to commit to yourselves. Now, what do we mean by this? There are many ways that one can commit to themselves. What we are discussing in this particular context is the idea that you have a passion, you have an excitement, you have an inner intuitive feeling that is, of course, a communication from your higher mind nudging you to move in a direction that will actually bring you into greater alignment with your higher mind and nudge you in a direction that is towards the greatest expression of all that you are. And it is these communications, these passionate feelings, this degree of excitement that you can choose to commit yourselves to. We understand in your physical reality there are many things that can keep you busy. There are many things that can be distracting. And many of you have put value in the idea of multitasking. But if many of you are honest with yourselves about this idea of multitasking, you would admit that the tasks that you are doing simultaneously are, for the most part, only getting some of your attention. None of them are getting your full commitment of attention, your full commitment of energy, of focus. Now, we understand that there are many things throughout the day that you may need to get done, and we are not saying that every single thing that you engage yourselves in needs to have a 100% commitment. There are many things that you do that would actually serve you to disassociate from, so that you can allow certain ideas or epiphanies to take place. For instance, were you to wash the dishes? Many times, because you are actively engaged in something, certain ideas that perhaps you have been thinking about can float to the surface. And so, in those particular contexts, you do not necessarily need a full commitment to the idea of washing the dishes. But for these particular growth focal points, such as relationships and moving towards your excitement, a full commitment would produce the greatest amount of results. We want to point out at this point, as we have mentioned briefly, that much of what you commit yourselves to is the experience, is the lessons that you will derive from the experience. And many of those, in fact, the majority of those, will be unknown to you at the point that you choose to make the commitment. And when we say make the commitment, let us use the example of the channel. He has committed to the idea for 30 days in a row to show up here, put himself on camera, and allow us to channel a message through him. But he does not know what the subsequent days' topics will be. And when he began this endeavor, we gave him a few indications of what possible topics might be, but he had no idea for the vast majority of days. And for the remainder of days, he still does not. But he has made a commitment to this endeavor. There will be 30 days of this video series. He has leaned into the experience, leaned into the unknown, knowing that there will be certain benefits. And there have been, in many cases. He has had rendezvous with individuals, for instance, that he would not have had were it not for these particular videos. He has also experienced specific physiological changes, wherein he is now more capable of tapping into our energy. This is one simple example of the results that he has attained by making a commitment to this endeavor. And we will say this, that his commitment to this idea need not go further than 30 days. In fact, as we have indicated to him, that for this particular idea, it will be 30 days and no more. And in part, this is why he knew that this would be something that he could commit himself to. And so he has. And many of you can make similar commitments. And we would highly suggest this idea of the 30-day challenge. Because rather than intellectualizing what might happen to you were you to have an experience, trying something out, something that you're curious about, a new diet, a new activity, something that you've been wanting to try, but you didn't know how you would commit to it, give yourself a 30-day period that you will commit to this idea. At the end of the 30 days, you can make a decision if you would like to continue or not, but either way, you will derive great benefit from this activity. We would highly recommend this. But it is your commitment to the idea, your leaning into the experience that you are having that will allow you to derive everything that you can in terms of what is relevant for you to experience in your relationships, in following your passion, and in being present in the moment. And these experiences will result in a raising of your vibration as you begin to lean into them and allow the experiences to come up and address the challenges. Because that is why you are here. To have these experiences, not to run from them, but to have them. So that you can live a rich life here in this particular physical lifetime. You can live without regrets. And you can live in greater harmony and alignment with your higher mind. We thank you for this opportunity to speak with you in this way, and we look forward to speaking with you again. Until next time. Thank you for watching. Thanks so much.